Hey Scapers, and a warm welcome to our latest RuneScape live stream. If you haven't already heard the news, this was planned to be a leads Q&A, but unfortunately life happened and a few of our leads unfortunately couldn't make it. So we're really sorry about that, but we should have them on next week, and we've still managed to put together hopefully a show that's going to be really fun for you, and we're going to have plenty of updates along the way. And the show must go on at the end of the day. So not only are we going to give you a couple of updates on some of the hottest topics in the community, like elite dungeons, but we're also going to tell you and show you actually about the wishes. These have been in development for quite some time. We know you've been really eager to hear about them, and it's going to be awesome to show them off today. And without further ado, allow me to introduce our intrepid cast today. We've got Mod Kayala, Master of Ninjas, and many, many other things. We've got Moderator, King of the Punny Name, and Mod Liam, sporting his epic look, which is looking mighty fine, I must say, Mod Liam. It's looking good. Rocking it.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do with clippers these days.
So, before we dive into this, we promised some updates. So we were obviously going to go into these in more detail on the leads Q&A. We'll still do that. I've got a whole bunch of notes here that I'm going to give you a quick run through of on a variety of things going on. So let's talk about Elite Dungeon first. So as you know, we resolved this back in April. We kind of plugged the gap to stop it happening. And then we've had to kind of wait whilst we finish getting the last of the Login Lockout people. There's still a few people. I think we've got like 3 or 4 accounts still to get back, but it's very, very minimal now. And so that's given us the opportunity to go do this. We'd already done a significant investigation. The good news is the scale of abuse was actually smaller than we expected. It was actually in the hundreds, not the thousands. So we expected it to be a bit more impactful than it actually was. We looked at the severity of the abuse and the impact onto the economy based on the accounts we looked at. Thankfully, the good news is that we can confirm there was minimal impact to the economy based on our investigation so far. And then today we have taken action. So we had to undo a couple that were mistaken. If you are banned, you feel like it's mistaken, we are still looking into it, but we are pretty confident in our results. But we've issued a mix of temporary bans and permanent bans, and it's all based on the severity. So that's the latest on that. So we have kind of got those punishments out there, and that's all rolled out. The second thing is the Sophanem Slayer dungeon. So, as some of you know, I think it was a couple weeks back, we were talking about the scorpions and about some abuse that was going on there and kind of players owning the farming that's going on. We have 2 fixes in flight, so we've got 2 ways we're going to tackle this. One is that we're going to basically resolve the ability to use the feather trick on the scorpions and kind of get rid of that as an actual method. And then the other aspect is currently investigation, but we're going to look into potential changes that could basically make this a more achievable Slayer task around players who are farming for drops. So no ETA on either. One of those is a fix that's done and is awaiting QA. The other one's still an ongoing investigation, but we do have stuff coming for that. Going to continue down the monologue train. I'll get you through all this. Client texture issues. So some of you have reported you've got kind of this like no texture issue that's coming on, especially if you're in compatibility mode where it mostly occurs. The team are very aware of this. We do have a fix in the works. And I've been told by the engine team today that it's expected that with the next engine update, we'll have that resolved. We don't know when that's going to be quite yet, but as soon as we have an ETA, we'll let you know. But it's something that's being actively worked on. Speaking to the client, there's also crashes. This something, to be honest with you, is a bit of one where we've got to kind of go backwards a little bit to go forward. So as many of you know, we were fixing a bunch of stuff from right up until the Login Lockout happened, and then kind of all the client fixes got put on hold to put all our engineering resources onto that. We've kind of lost a bit of momentum on that front because we just simply have had to kind of re-gear ourselves back into I guess you call it business as usual, you know, getting ourselves back into the rhythm of things. And so actually I want to put out an open call today. If you're experiencing crashes regularly, if this is something that is affecting your play experience, and especially if you have something that's reproducible, if you could drop by in the engine feedback channel on Discord and let us know what crashes you're experiencing regularly. We want to use your voice and kind of your experiences to help drive our priority order on these fixes. So if you are experiencing those crashes, please drop engine feedback on Discord. If you don't want to drop on Discord, someone wants to fire up a Reddit thread, we grab it from anywhere. But that's a great place that you can come talk to us, and we will try and get those through and use that to help prioritize what work we do on crashes and fixes. So thanks in advance for your help, but we really want to kind of lead by the impact on players first on the crash stuff. Okay, That's a lot of words from one man, but hopefully that gives you a lot of key updates. And another thing we wanted to talk about today, because it's another hot topic in the community, is mobile. So to give you the updates is the one and only Mod Liam. So all right, Mod Liam, hope it's going well.
All right.
What's going on with mobile at the moment? What's all the changes people have been seeing with beta and what's been going on?
So yeah, I mean, we're still in beta. We're still testing out changes. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, you had Mod Stew on, taking us through a guided tour of the entire tutorial. So we've been sort of polishing up in there. We've also made a few little changes to the HUD in the meantime, moved the minimap a little bit, just to sort of, test out a few things for new players, but also gauge reaction from existing players, which we gauged. So yeah, long story short, we're going to be moving the minimap back a little bit, back to where it was previously, in time for launch, just because we realized that the impact to existing players was pretty big. And although it is an improvement for new players, we need to find a way of basically doing that in a way that works for everyone. And this is kind of the challenge with mobile, really, especially on the build up to launch, is that we need to sort of cater to everybody that we possibly can. Yes, we've got lots and lots of sort of active players who have been playing through the beta and their muscle memory is all there, but we've also got loads of people coming in that have never seen the game before, and we need to make sure that basically they're able to get into the game and it's a comfortable experience for them. And the long story short, the justification for moving that minimap down was basically just to have the navigation element near your right hand thumb. That was it. There's no sort of nefarious sort of plan there or anything like that. I saw some good conspiracy theories out there about why we did it, but no conspiracy theory. It's just nearer your thumb, guys. But again, for high level combat, that wasn't as desirable because it was kind of impacting being able to have your action buttons open and the backpack open at the same time, which is pretty important stuff. So we're going back to the drawing board on that one, and just doing a quick revert, which you should see released very soon. So yeah, that's kind of where we are with the sort of UI stuff, and we're going to be changing things all the way up to when we do the full release as well. And talking about a world beyond the release, that's something we've started talking about as well. So we've got a few just sort of general plans about what we're going to be working on post-launch as well.
And like mobile's really kind of like part of RuneScape's future kind of going forward as well, right? Like it's something that in tandem with everything else is going to be kind of developed and worked on and iterated on, just like the desktop client and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, because the other thing is that we're really aiming for it to be a cross-play experience. We don't, obviously the way you control the game and the way you interact with the game on mobile is going to be fundamentally different than on PC with mouse and keyboard, but we want there to be enough similarities between the desktop and mobile version of the game that you can comfortably switch back and forward from one to the other without really feeling confused or missing a beat. And that's something that I think is really important for new players as well. We're bringing in all these new players on mobile. Eventually we want to turn those into RuneScape players, and they'll start sort of engaging in the top end bosses on desktop. So moving from mobile to desktop, being able to recognize things like HUD elements and icons and things like that when you're switching to the desktop version is going to be pretty important. So we're going to be thinking about things like that post-launch.
Yeah, and also, you say that. I've seen people take on Rapture on mobile. They can do it. It's not just going to be switching to that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
I think we're going to be surprised.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've seen people doing like
super hard mode.
Yeah, insane enrage levels, and hats off to them. But those guys, I don't think are the sort of average RuneScape player, let's say. So I think that would be a lot more challenging for someone like me on mobile.
For sure.
I'd much rather do it on desktop.
And obviously, for any of you out there, if you don't know, we've got kind of like pre-registration goals based on a bunch of internal kind of like milestones we've set. And the more people we have join us, the more things we can unlock. We have 5 different stages you can unlock. We've already unlocked 2 tiers, and I hear things are looking pretty good for that tier 3, Model Liam.
Yeah,
Closing in.
we're munching through the tiers pretty quickly. Like exact numbers are hard to get hold of because they're always ticking up at quite a rate. But yeah, we're homing in on tier 3. I don't think tier 4 or 5 might be that far around the corner. So if you're out there and you've not pre-regged yet, click the button. If you know someone else who's not pre-regged yet, get them to click the button.
Just give them a nudge for us. Yeah,
absolutely.
No, it's awesome, and it's looking like tons of people joining us for mobile as it is, and it's only growing up and up and up. So, fingers crossed. We're really excited about it. I know. Is there anything you want to say for the team watching, Liam?
For the team, the guys working on it.
I hope they watch.
Keep smashing it. I'm hoping they're working. No, seriously.
The sign of a true lead.
Yeah. They've been absolutely smashing it the last 6 months. The progress that we've seen is absolutely phenomenal. They're doing great work, and yeah, we're all really looking forward to launch. And it's not just about that launch, it's what comes after as well. We're starting to lay those plans, and everyone's getting excited about that, and just continuing this journey. Oh God, I sounded like a TV talent show there, sorry. But yeah, we'll be continuing the journey on after launch as well.
Next time on, yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, thanks for the update on mobile and everything that's going on. And we also have obviously the other big hot topic, and the main feature of today's show is the wishes. These are now known as the Guardian's Gift, and we're actually going to give you a run through, not just of what they are, but we're actually going to show you a bunch of them. So, Kayala, I'm going to come to you first. You have a team of intrepid ninjas, which I don't know if people know, have been working on delivering a lot of the post-logout benefits. Obviously, your team put together the events, including the amazing new D&D week and the upgraded combat week. And then this has been your other big project, which is the wishes work that people have been waiting to hear a lot on. So what is the Guardian's Gift?
Yeah, so we've been a bit absent lately. You might have noticed there's been a certain lack of ninja strikes, but that has because we've been working on the wishes. So it's a brand new set of benefits that we've come up with just to meet the struggles that players affected by the login lockout have come up against. So it's been driven by player suggestions and the things that you guys have been saying that you feel you've missed out on. It's definitely taken us a bit longer than anticipated. Obviously we had kind of a end of April release date penciled in, but have missed that, but we're getting there now. But that's because we wanted to make sure that we got it right, and we want to make sure that they feel good for what you want from them. And that might be, we've seen players saying that they feel like they've missed out on time on their player and farm, or there's been some components that have been missing from the patch. So we want to make sure that everything this Guardian's Gift is giving to you is helping you after the login lockout. So very quickly, just some quick details. So everyone's getting one wish. There are 3 wishes for those that have been affected by the login lockout. So if you couldn't log back in, you get 3 wishes. And then there are a certain section of the community that have been severely affected and weren't able to log in for a long time, and they get 4 wishes. So I'm going to hand you over to Erator, who's going to take you through the Guardian's Gift, and we'll have a look at exactly what we've got in store. But I think you'll be pleased. I hope you'll be pleased.
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing to that just before you fire up, Moderator, which is there's been a lot of feedback that we've brought into this, and it's really been guided and built by that, as Kayala was saying. That includes Ironman as well. We know that Ironman we didn't get right with the Returner's Gift at the start. We gave you the cosmetics, but we could have maybe done more, and there's been a lot of that taken into account on this as well. So that hopefully your feedback and the voices you gave us there you'll see the results here as well, I'm sure. All right, Moderator, take it away. I'll shut up and let you show the cool stuff.
Yeah, if we could go into gameplay view. Excellent. So, I'm set up here as an account that was not affected by lockout at all. So you can see here that I've got a new object in my inventory called the Guardian's Gift, and it has 100% charges. As Kayala mentioned, if you were directly affected by lockout, then you will receive 300% charges, and if you're a part of that small subset who were the extended locked out players, you'll be receiving 400% charges. So yeah, this will be given to you on login. It'll continuously try to give it to you on login as well if your backpack is full. And yeah, you can interact with it. And then we just wanted to open up by just saying thank you for sticking with us throughout the whole situation. Obviously, it's not an ideal place for it to have been in, but yeah, we just wanted to say thank you straight up. There will be an FAQ that comes along with this that will be going out at some point, which will give you a really good deep dive into all of the options we have available to you and going into even more detail. But for now, let's have a look. Let's have a look and view the wishes themselves. So again, you come straight into an overview, which is explaining more about how to actually use the charge system. So it's essentially a case of each individual wish has a set number of charges, and you can make any of the wishes that you want in any combination that you want until you've used up all 100%. And the idea being that these are pretty good things that we hope that you are going to be looking forward to.
So can we just go back just before we go any further? Sorry, I just want to say, so like obviously when we first talked about this, we talked about there would be like wishes, and it would be like, you know, maybe 1 or 3, and now we've gone with this charge system. So like, what's the purpose with the charge system? What are we trying to do for players, and in terms of what they can do with their gift?
Yeah, so it was a case of, so this actually has changed quite significantly, which is why it has taken that little bit longer than we would have liked. To start with, it was a case of there was a wish of time, there was a wish of value, and there was a wish of experience. And then you would buy into one of those essentially. So if you bought into wish of value, then you'd be locked into choosing a bunch of value-based items. Or if you went for time, then you'd be locked into to only choose from the time-based items, and experience again, you'd be locked into only experience-based items. But we felt like that didn't really give. It was a lot of it caused some potential issues for players, right? Of the buyer's remorse of, oh, I bought into time, but then I realized that, oh, value was probably the better one to choose for me, and now I can't change back. And it was not an ideal scenario that it could have left players in. So instead, we decided to say, you know what, let's allow people to go across all of the different categories of value, time, and experience, and mix and match them as they wish, to then get the maximum benefit for themselves. And the reason really for being a charge-based system rather than a one and done is purely to give that control to the players. So the people obviously were the most affected, which is those sort of really engaged high-level players. We wanted to give them the absolute control over what they receive from it, rather than a case of saying, okay, you've chosen the wish of value, here's a bunch of stuff, and we decided it for you. Like, we're giving complete control over to you guys. So if you want to choose all of your wishes to be Inventor's wish, that's you can completely do that. That's not a problem.
Yeah, and also just for anyone watching as well, we're also going to have an article out this week, later in the week. Will act as kind of an FAQ and a deep dive into everything you're going to see today. So join us for this, but later we'll give you that, and so you can start thinking about how you're going to use those charges based on how many you're going to have and how you want to spend them. So you'll be able to kind of strategize before you even get there, because I know I'm going to be thinking long and hard how about I use my 100% charge. So
yeah, and you can hold on to this as well, as long as you want. There is a certain length of time that you have to log in once this goes live to actually claim the item. It will to actually get it in the first place, but once you have it, then you can keep it for as long as you wish. You can bank it, you can destroy it and reclaim it from Diango, and you'll get your same amount of charges back. So don't feel like you have to use it on day one to get rid of it straight away, or within like a week or something. Like, once you have it, it's yours until those charges are depleted. Cool. So yeah, without further ado, I'll jump into the first wish, which is called the Inventor's Wish. So this is a wish that will grant you a gizmo shell that can be used. It can basically be filled with any materials that you have unlocked, but you don't use your own materials in it. So if you have Ancient Invention unlocked as well, it will be an Ancient Gizmo version. So if I select this here, I've got Ancient Invention unlocked, so I can choose a weapon, armor, or tool gizmo. So let's take weapon, for example. I will confirm that. So I've now got a costless ancient weapon gizmo, which if I use it, you'll notice that there's no numbers next to any of these materials, and all of the rare materials as well, which if I quickly jump into here, you'll see that I don't actually have one of all of them. But essentially this will allow you to, as long as I have it unlocked, use those materials, and in any quantity as well, which, yes, does mean that if I can find them, you can fill this up with 9 noxious components if you wanted.
I just want to stop a couple of things here as well, just to jump in. Couple things. The charges that we have, we've kind of used the charges to also help balance this. So something like this is going to be more costly than certain other benefits, right?
Yes. Yeah, this is the most expensive option that there is. We felt it was the strongest. It costs twice as much as anything else, pretty much. So this would be 20% of your charges. If you wanted to pick 5 of these, you can pick 5 of these. But that will be your entire item done for a normal player, obviously. 3 times as many for the locked out players and 4 times as many for the extended locked out.
So, and that's a couple other things as well. So firstly, as you go through, if you can let us know which ones are applicable to Ironmen. I know it's the vast majority of them, if you could. And then, because people are asking in the chat. And then the other thing is, with the gizmos and all the sort of stuff that we're showing as we go through, just a reminder, everyone will get 100% charge, and then you get more charges if you were impacted. 300% if you were impacted, or 400% if you were severely impacted if you were in that last group. So just a reminder to everyone that everyone gets access to this as well. You just get more if you were locked out.
Yeah, there is the one restriction of if your account was created on or after the 5th of April, then you won't receive any wishes, because obviously your account was created after the login lockout incident happened in the first place. So there won't be any wishes for newly created accounts. So don't think of going creating new accounts now to get as many wishes as you can, because it won't work. And yeah, so with these gizmos as well, like if you picked, for example, you picked the weapon one here and you wanted to change it, then you can convert it if you want. So you can take it back and you can go, oh, I wanted an armor one instead, or I want a tool one instead. That's absolutely fine. You can do that. But yeah, this is available to Ironmen. It will state specifically on here if it's not available to Ironmen, which I believe is only the Polymath wish, which we'll get to at the end, which is experience based. But yeah, we'll go through them one by one.
There is a caveat here that I should probably drop, but I'll drop it at the end as well. You go.
For the Inventor's wish, or for all of it?
No, for the wishes. I'll cover it at the end.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's the first wish. So essentially, yeah, you'll be able to get a free gizmo, which you'll be able to put materials that you have unlocked, that you may not necessarily own one of them, and you'll be able to use as many of them as you want, material-wise. The Entrepreneur's Wish, so this is more of a non-combat based wish. So this would give you a hell of a lot of items that you can use in various pieces of content throughout the game. So you'll notice here that there's a couple of things that already exist that are live. So for example, the animal name rerollers for player-owned farm, the trait rerollers for player-owned farm are existing items in game. You'll receive 2 of those, along with 2 gender changes as well. So that's a brand new item that we've introduced with this. So you've got 3 items there that will affect your player-owned farm. There's a few things that will affect your player-owned ports. A lot of I think all of these are already existing items. So you've got the captain rerolls, you've got the crew rerolls, the voyage rerolls, and ports resource crates. So you can, do a little bit with your ports. And then there's a brand new item, which is the traveling merchant coupon, which is interesting. So this would essentially allow you to view the stock from the traveling merchant from any day over the past 30 days. So yeah, if you've missed out on any of those days that the merchant was around, then you can go back, you can purchase that stock. But if you've already purchased the stock from that day, then you won't be able to purchase it again.
Yeah, so Ironman players are now going to especially love that one, I'm sure. That was a big one.
Yeah, this is
that we
available
had.
to Ironman. This is, say, 10% charge. This is half the price of the Inventor's Wish. So yeah, this is just a 10% charge. So you could pick this 10 times if you want, and by selecting this, you will receive all of these things. It's not like you then have to select one of them. You will get every single one of these things by selecting this wish. And then the last 2 as well are based around arc, so you'll be able to reset your arc contract limit for the day, and also your arc chime selling limit as well. So you'll be able to reset those. So if I select this, you'll see all of the stuff that I'm going to get here, which you can then use at your will as well. So whenever you need to use them, so you don't again have to use them straight away. These are then items that you can bank until you actually need them. Cool. So the third wish is more PVM based. So this is looking at giving you a generic aura refresh that can be used anywhere up to tier 4 auras, a life refresh. Again, they're 2 existing items in game. And then 2 new items that we've added along with the wishes. So one is a Soul Reaper refresh, so you'll be able to reset your daily Reaper task. And the last one is an item protection contract, which is essentially a free death. So obviously some deaths at the moment are costing sort of 13, 14, 15 mil. This is essentially a free death for you. So you'll be able to trade this in with death on your demise, and he will give your items back for free. Cool. And then again, that's a 10% charge. This is available to Ironman. And yeah, moving on. Also available to Ironman. So this is looking at player-owned farm. So essentially, you'll be able to choose whichever paddock you want within either your mana farm or your dino farm, and you'll be able to run a breeding cycle on it. So you'll be guaranteed to get at least 1 baby or egg, depending on what the animal is. And then there'll also be a second roll as well. So there'll be a second chance of getting another baby or egg as well, assuming that there is still space within the paddock. So yeah, and that the chance of the second one is based on the normal breeding chance. So obviously your dragons are a lot less likely to breed on their breeding tick than it is for something like a rabbit. But there is the chance of essentially getting 2 babies or eggs for using this. Cool. And then yeah, again, this is available to Ironmen. This is a 10% charge cost, which the majority of them are. Awesome. And then yeah, we've got the Navigator's Wish. So this is an instant complete. You don't get any items for this. Wrangler's Wish, you won't receive any items in your inventory either. It will happen immediately. And then you got the Navigator's Wish, which again is something that will happen immediately. It's available to Ironmen, and it will essentially just complete all of your active port voyages. So you've got how many ships are? I think 5 ships now that you can have out at once. This will complete them all in one go. They'll instantly come back, and you can claim their loot and send them out again. And you can do that 10 times if you'd like,
or more if you're in the lockout group,
or more if you're yes, indeed, a minimum of 10 times. Cool. And then the Archaeologist Wish, which is similar to the Navigator's Wish. Instead, it works on archaeology research. So again, no reason to lock out Ironmen from that. They're allowed to use this. It's a 10% charge cost, and yeah, you can start off your 24-hour archaeology research, and then instantly complete it, and you get all of your loot resources, the materials, your artifacts as well, and whatnot. And then yeah, again, don't receive anything in your inventory for choosing this. It's something that happens immediately, so you'll need to have your archaeology research set up and ready already. But it will stop you if it realizes, hey, you haven't actually got an archaeology research mission active. Then it will say, hey, no, you can't do this, because obviously we don't want you to waste charges. Cool. And then looking at the last 2, so one of them is the Wanderer's Wish. So this is the only one that has differing charge cost based on what you select. The reason being is that it's a reset for your D&Ds, and whether it's a daily, weekly, or monthly will change the amount of charge that's used for it. So yeah, and this is as well. This is different to the daily D&D token resets that you can get in live at the moment, because they actually have a cap to how often you can use them, whereas this doesn't have a cap. So you could do your daily reset with this, do it immediately again, reset, do it again, reset, do it again, reset. If you'd like. So we basically bypass that cap that the existing items already have. And this is just
I think a caveat here as well, it's one D&D as well, isn't it, right? It's one application for one D&D. It's not like all your dailies and all your monthlies, etc. get reset by it, right?
Correct, yeah. So you basically come in here, you can pick daily, and then whatever daily it is that you want. And assuming that you've already done it, then it will reset your cap. So obviously with cash, it'll be a case of it will reset your points total, so you can go and do another 100 points within the cash. And yeah, if it is a daily, then it actually only uses 1% charge as well. So you actually get a hell of a lot of value out of. It may be a reason that you want to hold on to it for a while. And finally, if all of these don't quite tickle your fancy, there is the Polymath Wish, which is the one that isn't available to Ironmen. The only thing that's not available to Ironmen, and it's a double XP for an hour. It will activate immediately. Obviously, you can't use it if there's already a double XP active, so you can't like stack up to four times XP or anything like that. And yeah, all your normal double XP restrictions apply. And if you're on a free-to-play world, then it's the 20% bonus instead of the full double. And that's at a 10% charge. So yeah, if you're not affected by lockout, you could get 10 hours worth of double XP, or 30 hours, or 40 hours if you're in those other categories.
I think that's worth. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's worth talking about as well, because like, obviously, player feedback has inspired pretty much everything we put on the table. A lot of the custom development work and everything has been putting in things that we know people really wanted, especially Ironman players from the kind of first round of feedback. Like, this changed a lot to get this kind of level of choice where now everyone's kind of getting, on average, depending on what you pick, anywhere between 5 and 10 different choices or more if you go for the dailies, even at that 100%, right? Like, that was something that took that extra time that we spent to kind of get this awesome UI, get this new charge system kind of set up in a way that's really cool, right? It's kind of what we've been cooking on.
Yeah, exactly. And I can see as well, a lot of people talking in chat about the Inventor's wish and saying about how good it is. And at the same time, people have also picked up on, like, you only get a roll on getting those best in slots perks. You're not guaranteed to get those best in slot perks. So yeah, it's like, yes, it is very good, but at the same time, you may not actually get what you want out of it. Which at that point, so it's that trade-off, right? It's the high risk, high reward. Well,
and I think that's one of the things we really saw. I think, Kayala, you could probably agree with me on this, is that we had such a range of people going, well, hang on, I really missed out on my ports progress that's really important to me. And then someone else is like, well, my player-owned farm progress loss. Obviously, some of it we also couldn't restore, which also came into account. But we're just trying to make sure we give as much choice as humanly possible here within the realms of feasibility, right?
Yeah, pretty much. We're trying to make sure that we hit the note for everyone, not just, the person who wants the Avengers thing. Like, a lot of people lost a variety of different things, so we're trying to make sure that we give everyone the option to get what they want. And this is the final part of the compensation package for the Login Lockout. So it's in addition to the reward crate that we gave to everyone. So yeah,
obviously, and then, like we mentioned, just to recap, because I see some people asking, so you'll get 100% charge. Everyone gets that, unless you were one of the people impacted by the Login Lockout, in which case you'll get 300% charge. And then if you were in the small group of people that we were working on for about another 3 to 4 weeks to get back into game that needed that extra level of attention, those people in those last 2 releases will be getting 400% charge, and that's because they missed out on the D&D week, the skilling week, and the combat week, so we want to give them a little extra charge to kind of make up for that lost time. And hopefully you agree these are pretty darn powerful, so hopefully that will be pretty awesome for you. And just a big thank you again for everyone. We wanted to recognize everyone with this because frankly everyone was impacted in some way or the other, and we hope this is a good fun thing to get some bonuses and kind of get your skilling or your ports or whatever back on track.
And you'll know that you were you'll know that you were the severely affected because you'll have got 3 reward crates when you got back in. So.
Tongue twister.
Yep.
Okay, some wishes. Hey, do the people who were locked out until very recently get extra wishes? Yes, that's your other 400% group. If you were, I think it's from April 28th onwards, that group, I think. Or sorry, could be, April 28th onwards, I believe. I'll have to double check that, but it's around there. Question here, does Navigator's wish guarantee a successful voyage?
I will have to double check that. I wasn't the one that implemented it. I will double check on that one before I say anything.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. So I've answered the questions here about what can constitute severely affected. What are the wishes for all players of the return? We answered that. Can we reset strange rocks with Wanderer's Wish? I like how you're like, let's do it live.
It's whatever options appear within the normal weekly D&D resets and monthly D&D and daily D&D reset tokens are the options that all appear here. We haven't added any new ones. So if it's within those, then yes, but it appears like it's the rocks doesn't appear to be that way now.
On the Navigator's wish.
Sorry.
Sorry, I don't know if we were continuing with that one. On the Navigator's Wish, it does not guarantee the successful voyage. The team tells me.
Cool. There was another one as well. Did I understand correctly that you'll be able to reset a monthly until your charge runs out? So can you do, well, in this case, they're saying statues, but 10 times a row in the same day?
Yeah, so you can do it back to back to back. So there isn't. So as I was saying, where the monthly reset tokens are currently live have a cap on them to how frequently you can use them. This doesn't have a cap, so you can do it back to back to back to back to back if you'd like. So you could do if you only had 100% charge, you could do 5. What did you call it? Yeah, the statues, god statues. That's the one. You could do 5 god statues in a row in one login session if you wanted to.
Follow me for the win said, do they expire? No, but we will, and we'll detail on this in post. You will have to log in by a certain time to claim it, and then it won't be claimable. Once you do claim it, it will not expire. One thing I guess we should probably say, so there's a caveat I had to mention, so I just want to make sure we get this information out there. So as we said, we designed this with Ironman players in mind, and a lot of the feedback we got. Obviously, a lot of what you've seen is members only. If you are a free-to-play Ironman player, that does mean that you won't have access to any of these wishes. None of these wishes will be applicable to you. However, you will still receive the wishes, and if you ever end up becoming a member, you will totally be able to use that. And there's also a Prime Gaming 7-day thing if you've got Prime Gaming. But just a caveat on that, so if you are a free-to-play Ironman player, unfortunately, these wishes won't be something that you can use right now. And then obviously, it goes without saying, like we said, double XP is in there. That is something you can do. Same double XP rules apply. So if you're a free-to-play player, you will only get the usual 20%. Is that correct, Kayala? If I recall correctly, it's 20%
so, yeah.
for free-to-play players, not double XP. So if you're a free-to-play player, you will get that same benefit that you get from a normal double XP. And as mentioned, you can't stack them. Prime Game keeps coming up with an error. Is it not active yet? I think it goes active later today. So, does the Guardian gift expire? It does not. But you do have to claim it before the time limit, which I believe it's about a 3-month window we're offering, isn't it, Claire? Is that correct? Something like that.
It's 3 months. Yeah, it's August the 24th is the date that we put in. That you have to log in by. There
you go, boom. So as long as you log in before August 24th, you'll get it, and at that point you can just keep it until you're ready. You can bank it, right? Is that correct?
Yes, you can bank it. You can destroy it and reclaim it from Diango. Once you've used all 100% charges, the item will be destroyed, so you won't be able to get it back at that point. But whilst you still have charges, you can bank it, you can destroy it, and reclaim it still.
By the way, thank you. There's a lot of people saying like, "Oh, it's clear," or I've seen a few comments of people saying like, "Oh, it's clear." There's a lot of work that's gone into this. I think that's safe to say, right? Like, how long? What's been a 6-week project, something like that? I think.
Oh, longer than that, I think. Yeah, essentially since we got hit by it, we've been working on it. If not the skilling and combat weeks, then getting this wishes to the state that we want it to be. Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work to implement all these.
You missed that, sorry.
Go for it. we're all lagging on each other. I was going to say, but we've got a great ninja strike coming out after the wishes in a few weeks. That'll be a good one. That'll be a cracker.
Gotta get the ninja plugs in.
Hey, we're still there. We wanted to release this one for a while, but it got caught out by Login Lockout and the wishes. So yeah, we're still going.
Got a question here actually that I saw someone asking around. Can the daily amount of voyages be reset when using that port's wish? So essentially, like, are you going to get extra voyages to make up for that? Isn't there another wish that does that gives you extra voyage roll?
Yeah. So you got the voyage reroll tokens already, and it's worth saying as well that like you get like 1 token. I think that actually gives like 5 voyage rerolls, even though it's only 1 token. So it's not quite. It's actually better than it initially reads as well.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually going to jump on this actually because I meant to mention it in the topics at the start of the show and I didn't mention it. The Grimoire pages, we will have an update for you on that soon. I promise. It's something that it's ready for QA, and we're going to get you some sort of timeline as soon as we can on that. It's something I'm working on with the team to give you an indication when that's going to drop. So don't worry, we're gonna. I said the soon TM meme. I know, but just know it's top of mind. Getting you an update on when to expect that from when it was previously there, and we had to kind of postpone it because of lockout and everything. we will get you some sort of indication on when to expect that. So we're just trying to fit it in around all our other updates. Speaking of which, you'll hear more on our next big update soon. Does the bonus XP stack with, double XP, does the double XP stack with double XP live if you decide to use it then?
No, you can't activate it if double XP live is active. And the same goes with like knowledge bombs. And there's a few items that fall into that category that the wish double XP option doesn't stack with that.
And does hardcore Ironman hardcore Ironman players get a free death as a wish?
Yeah, that was probably a bad explanation on my part. So that's part of this item protection contract. So it's not necessarily, it's not that hardcore Ironmen get a free death. It's more that your items will be returned to you for free from death. It doesn't affect hardcore Ironman death status or anything like that. It's purely getting your items back for free.
I saw a couple people asking if they could see the merchant, how the merchant ticket works. Are we able to show that live? Or is that risky business?
Yeah, cool. So I've already claimed one of those options here. So I've got this traveling merchant coupon, and then basically it can be exchanged. You have to go to the traveling merchant still to actually use it, essentially you'll be able to view the stock from recent days, so the past 30 days. And again, you can't purchase any stock that you bought before using the tokens. You can actually add them to your currency pouch as well. So if you don't want to use it straight away, then you can put it in your currency pouch and use it whenever you want. And I don't have the commands on hand to force the traveling merchant to spawn.
That's all right.
So unless Mod Ryan is watching and he can supply it to me, then I can't actually show it and go.
Oh, this is a great question. Is the 10 hours of double XP like 10 times 1 hour or 10 hours straight? So you're buying it in hour increments for 10% charge, correct?
Yeah, it's 10 times 1 hour. So you'll use one. Yeah, so you don't have to commit all 100% to 10 hours straight away. You can do 10% now and then for 1 hour, and then you could do other wishes and come back and do another hour if you want.
So the second part of that question, which I thought was a really great ask, because I want to know this as well, is that double XP just something that triggers, or is it like the double XP timer for double XP live where you can pause it?
So you can't pause it. It doesn't use this interface that's up here. It's similar to the knowledge bombs where I believe it's on your buff bar. So it'll be that side of things. You can't pause it once it's activated. Then that's why we didn't want it to be all 10 hours at once as well, because you go, oh yeah, I'm ready to do that now, and then you have to log off, and then you come back and you want to do something else, and then you're forced into it. It was the whole reason as to why we implemented pausing in the first place for the bigger DXP. But yeah, we've basically just said 1 hour at a time, and then it's a lot easier to manage that way as well.
Yeah, so essentially, if you want your buy it in hour increments when you know you're going to be spending it, basically. Cool. Well, thank you very much, Kayala and Erator, for whipping up a demonstration very quickly. Hopefully, you will love the wishes. They've been a long time coming, and you will get your hands on them on Monday. So it's coming soon. It's quicker than it's like all comes at once at this point. Speaking of which, a couple other things as well. So firstly, you may have seen we were being a little bit teasy at the end of in our This Week in RuneScape news post. There's a bunch of other stuff coming. Keep an eye on RuneScape.com tomorrow. Keep your eyes open on Thursday, and definitely be back here. I think the post says 5 p.m. game time, but it's 5 p.m. UK time, so 4 p.m. game time, I believe, on Friday. And we'll let you know what the next thing is coming in the Elder God Wars saga. We can't wait to talk about it. And also, on a way less important note, we'll also be back, myself and a couple of the narrative team will be going through Azanadra's quest, part 1 of 50 million at this rate, the way we've been going through. So if you want to join us for a bit of a kind of like a run through of the quest and get some kind of dev insights on that sort of stuff, we'll be there. For those of you saying about you thought you might have been banned and you feel like you shouldn't have, we'll be out there in the community engaging on it as soon as we have something to share. So we'll just keep an eye on that and look into every report as usual. So stand by, we'll let you know if we need you to contact anything or anything. But like I said, after the ones that we reversed earlier, we're pretty confident that we've got the right ones. But other than that, as always, take care out there, Scapers. Have a great time, and we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Ta-ra. Thanks for joining us.
See ya.
Cheers.